Hi, my name is Manisha Mishra. I am an assistant professor in mathematics, applied science department at Central Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. This college is affiliated to Mahers Vidyanand University, Rohtak. And today I will cover the topic correlation in the session. And in correlation, I will discuss definition and types of correlation, methods of studying of correlation. So first, what is the definition of correlation? So basically, we can see that correlation means relationship between uh, two elements, two variables, or whatever. That means correlation, a mutual relationship or connection between two or more things. So definition is correlation is a technique of statistically measuring the strength of linear association between the two sets of data. That means this line is also defining that correlation is a term that is measure of the strength of a linear relationship between two quantitative variables. Suppose then in example here, example height and weight, I am taking this simple example, height and weight. So we measure our weight according to our height, and our height is measuring according to weight. So that means height and weight, there are two variables, there are two data sets, and there is a relationship between height and data. So we can give the example height and weight. Now there is the correlation between sales and advertisement. There is another example here, the correlation between sales and advertisement expenditure of a firm marketing soft drinks, wages and productivity of employees in an operation center of a manufacturing unit. So basically this example is showing that if advertisement is good, then our sale will also be good. This is the meaning of this example. What example is saying that advertisement is good, that means our selling will be good, and the productivity of employees is good, then our this one, productivity of employees in an operation center of a manufacturing unit, market share and size of the sales force of a fast moving consumer goods firm. दैट मीन्स अगर हमारा कंज्यूमर जो भी हमारे प्रोडक्शन अच्छा हो रहा है, हमारी सेल अच्छी हो रही है, हमारा एडवर्टाइजमेंट अच्छा हो रहा है, तो इन सारे वेरिएबल्स के बीच में वी कैन से दैट देयर इज अ रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन ऑल दीज वेरिएबल्स. सो इनकम एंड एक्सपेंडिचर, जितनी हमारी इनकम है उतनी हमारे खर्चे होते हैं, and medical care of a family. So my means basically we just defining a relationship between two variables. Now next one is uh, types of correlation. So in correlation there are 4 to 5 types. So first one is your positive and negative correlation. So correlation can be positive or negative if both the data sets move in the same direction. So first one is your positive correlation. So positive means if both the data sets move in the same direction. That means if इनकम इज इंक्रीजिंग, दैट मीन्स जो हमारे खर्चे एक्सपेंडिचर हैं वो भी हमारे इंक्रीज हो रहे हैं. सो वी कैन से देयर इज दैट विल बी योर पॉजिटिव correlation. So there is an example here: price and supply, advertisement and sales, income and consumption. So price and supply means जो भी आपकी जो भी आपका प्रोडक्ट है उसका जो प्राइस है उसके बेस पे ही हम उसकी सप्लाई होती है. जितना कम प्राइस होगा उतनी ज्यादा डिमांड होगी, सप्लाई उतनी अच्छी होगी. एडवर्टाइजमेंट एंड सेल मीन्स सपोज आप जिस चीज का जितना एडवर्टाइजमेंट होता है हम उसको हमारी उतनी ही उसकी सेल होती है. सपोज मार्केट में अगर कोई सामान आता है और हम बोलते हैं कि वो अरे वो बहुत अच्छा सामान है, या जो भी हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट है, एलिमेंट है, वो उसका जितना ज़्यादा एडवर्टाइजमेंट होता है हम उतने उस चीज़ के लिए अट्रैक्ट होते हैं, तो उतनी ही उसकी सेल अच्छी होती है. इनकम एंड कंजप्शन मीन्स अगर हमारी इनकम बहुत ज़्यादा है तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग हम अपने खर्चे डिसाइड करते हैं. आर द एग्जांपल्स ऑफ पॉजिटिव correlation. Next one is your negative correlation. So if the data set move in the opposite direction, negative means if one is going right, then other will be left. So if the data set move in the opposite direction, it is the case of negative correlation. So there is an example here: price and demand. Price and demand means जितनी जिस हिसाब से उसका प्राइस होगा उसी हिसाब से उसकी डिमांड फिक्स होती है. दैट मीन्स अब अगर प्राइस किसी चीज का ज्यादा हाई होगा तो उसकी डिमांड कम से कम होगी. कंपटीशन एंड सेल्स. कंपटीशन एंड सेल्स मीन आपकी सेल कंपटीशन के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं करती है, आपकी सेल्स आपकी एडवर्टाइजमेंट के ऊपर डिपेंड करती है, क्वालिटी के ऊपर डिपेंड करती है. सो वी कैन से दैट कंपटीशन एंड सेल्स एंड प्राइस एंड डिमांड बोथ आर दी नेगेटिव कोरिलेशन एग्जांपल. नेक्स्ट वन इज योर simple correlation. Simple correlation is a measure used to determine the strength and the direction of the relationship between two variables x and y. What is this line is saying? Simple correlation is a measure used to determine the strength and the direction. So strength and direction means um, a simple correlation coefficient can range from -1 to 1. So just look at here: simple sorry, strength and direction. So 1 plus 1 just denote the indicates a perfect positive correlation. -1 is just indicates perfect negative correlation. And maximum or minimum values of some simple correlation cannot reach unity. So 1 or -1. So basically just in simple correlation we can say 1 is a perfect positive correlation, -1 is a perfect negative correlation, and 0 indicates there is no relationship between the variables. Next one is your partial correlation. So under partial correlation, the relationship of two or more variables is studied in such a way that only one dependent and one independent variable is considered and all the others are kept constant. So basically in partial correlation, so हम कह सकते हैं कि partial में जिस वेरिएबल के लिए हम फाइंड कर रहे हैं वैल्यू, सो वो वेरिएबल ही कंसीडर होगा और जितने भी बाकी के अदर वेरिएबल्स हैं वो क्या होंगे, ट्रीट लाइक ए कांस्टेंट. सो दिस इज द definition of partial correlation. Example: coefficient of correlation between yield of wheat and chemical fertilizers excluding the effects of pesticides and manures is called partial correlation. That means अगर हम केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स और वीट जो ईल्ड वीट है उनके बीच का अगर हम देखते हैं तो वो इफेक्ट्स ऑफ पेस्टिसाइड्स एंड मैन्योर इज कॉल्ड पार्शियल कोरिलेशन. दैट मीन्स आप इन दोनों में से किसी एक को ही चूज कर सकते हो और अदर क्या होंगे, ट्रीट लाइक ए कांस्टेंट. Next one is your total correlation. So total correlation is based on all the variables. We can see here जैसे कि total का मतलब ही है यही है कि हमारा जो correlation है वो सब पूरे उस पे बेस करेगा, जितने भी variables हैं उन सब के ऊपर बेस होगा, डिपेंड करेगा. Multiple correlation means in case of multiple correlation the relationship is studied among three or more variables. So three or more variables means, suppose there is an example here: QD is equal to f of p, pc, pst and y. These are the variables, means first one is p, second one is pc, third one is ps, fourth one t and y. That means these are the multiple variables. So we can define this like this. Now next is methods of studying correlation. So methods of studying correlation में we will discuss scatter diagram. This is the type of how we will measure our correlation. That means there are four methods and by the four method we will measure our correlation. So methods of studying correlation of the numerous techniques of measuring coefficient of correlation, we will discuss the following techniques in detail. So first one is here, and scattered diagram. Second one, Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. And second, Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation is very, very important, and there will be asked 8 marks question in your final semester exam. So just learn to find the Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation, and I will told you how to find the coefficient of correlation. Third one, rank coefficient of correlation. Fourth, concurrent deviation method. So first one is here, scatter diagram. So by the scatter diagram is a scatter diagram is a simple graphic way of understanding an association between the two discrete data sets. That means we can see here diagrams means there will be a graphic way. It means scatter diagram is a graph of observed plotted points where each point represents the value of x and y as a coordinate. It portrays the relationship between these two variables graphically. We can see that means for the graph we need x and y axis. So the जो भी हमारे पॉइंट्स होंगे, ईच पॉइंट्स रिप्रेजेंट द वैल्यू ऑफ एक्स एंड वाई एज अ कोऑर्डिनेट. जो भी हमारे पॉइंट्स होंगे जो हम ग्राफ पे प्लॉट करेंगे, तो वो जो हमारे पॉइंट है वो आपके एज ए कोऑर्डिनेट पॉइंट प्लॉट होंगे, राइट. That means one value will be of your x and second value will be your y. So first coordinate x, second coordinate y, as we know that. And this जो भी हमारा relation हम plot करेंगे वो क्या होगा, graphically denote होगा. Now the scatter of these dots indicates the extent and direction of association between the two data sets. Extent and direction means if they are extent the direction means if they are moving towards x-axis, then means there is a direction. If they are moving to y-axis, that means there are a direction of points or variables. And extent means जितना बड़ा जितना छोटा जो भी है वो हम सारी चीजें यहाँ पर अपने ग्राफ के थ्रू denote करेंगे. If the dots exhibit a greater scatter, less correlation exists. So now different types of scatter diagram. So there is first one, positive correlation. So we are just showing the positive correlation by the graph. So how we will decide that this is positive correlation or not. So just look at here. This is your x-axis, this is your y-axis, and points are 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, and on y-axis 5, 10, 50. So there are points, plotted points are here. Between 0 and 2 there is 1 point, at 2, and here this one. So just look at here, this is a positive correlation. This point, 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here, and 4 is here. And just check ये क्या हो रहा है, ये आपकी डायरेक्शन जो है वो क्या हो रही है, इंक्रीज होती चली जा रही है. सो हम क्या बोलेंगे कि इफ x axis is moving positively increasing and also y axis, so y axis also increasing, so there is both of the variables are moving in the same direction, so we can say that there is a positive कॉरिलेशन. हमें क्या चेक करना है, हमें ये चेक करना है कि अगर x हमारा इंक्रीज हो रहा है तो हमारा y भी इंक्रीज हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. तो बेसिकली हमारा x यहाँ पर इंक्रीज हो रहा है. वी कैन सी हियर दैट x is increasing and also y is increasing if both the variables are moving in the same direction. So by the definition of correlation, this is a positive correlation. There is another one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2, 4, 6, 8. So just look at here, at 1, at 2, at 3, at 4, at 5. So x is increasing and also y is increasing. That means this is a positive correlation, but there is a straight line. Just if we draw a straight line here, this one, like just look at here, this one. So this one is your straight line. So straight line, that means we are getting a परफेक्ट पॉजिटिव कॉरिलेशन। अगर हमें एक स्ट्रेट लाइन मिल रही, सारे पॉइंट एक ही लाइन में कवर हो रहे हैं, दैट मीन्स दिस इज अ परफेक्शन. So we can say this is a perfect positive correlation. X is increasing, Y is increasing, and we are getting a straight line which is cover all the points. So this is a perfect positive correlation. Now next one is your, just check your figure, first one. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 5, 10, 15. So at 2 means x-axis, y is 15. At suppose 3 at 2 point and something, so y is more than 15. At 3, y is 15. That means one value is increasing and other value is decreasing. If one is decreasing, one is increasing, that means there are both of the variable are moving in the opposite direction. And in the opposite direction, we can say there is a negative correlation. Here x is increasing but y is decreasing, so both there is a negative correlation between both of the variables. Next one is uh, 1 2 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 2 4 6 8 10. So there is a value 1 is here, and just at 5 the value of y is 4, and at 4 value is y is 6. So that means here also one variable is increasing and other one is decreasing. But there is a point here, there is a straight line here, just this one, this is a straight line here. So this straight line are covering all the points here, so that means this is the perfect negative correlation, same as it is as a perfect positive correlation. Same वैसे ही हम इसको बोल सकते हैं, this is a perfect negative correlation. Now this one, this figure is showing what is showing. There is a point on x-axis 0 5 10 15, and on y-axis the 5 10 15 20 25 30 and 35. So just look at here, this point here between 10 to 15, and this point is between at 5 and 0 to, and x-axis between 0 to 5. Now check, we can say these 2 points are showing that one is decreasing, one is increasing. But this point, that means y is increasing but x is not increasing, and this point both are the values same. So that means all these points are pointed graphically, sorry, randomly. So we can say there is no correlation because no one is increasing, no one is decreasing. That means there is no correlation between these two variables. Next point is Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation. This is very important topic, Karl Pearson. So it is based on all variables of both the series and the procedure of computing R. R means, R is the notation of coefficient of correlation. It is also known as the product moment correlation. So there is a formula here, R is equal to covariance upon sigma x sigma y. So I told you about covariance and sigma is your standard deviation, and covariance also I told you. So R is equal to summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar upon n into sigma x sigma y. So x bar y bar are the mean, arithmetic mean, and sigma x sigma y standard deviation for the series x and standard deviation for the series y, and n is the number of variables. There is another formula, R is equal to summation x minus x bar into y minus y bar upon square root of summation x minus x bar whole square into square root of summation y minus y bar whole square. So there are 3 to 4 formula, and we can find our coefficient of correlation by use this formula. So the above formula measures coefficient of correlation by converting x and y variables into standardized units. Hence, units of measurement of x and y do not affect it. It is also referred to as a standardized measure of covariance. So If the means of the two series is not integer, then above formula will be. So there is another formula, and this formula is very important, and we will find our coefficient of correlation by use this formula. So R is equal to, R means coefficient of correlation, Karl Pearson coefficient of correlation, summation x y minus summation x summation y upon n whole upon square root of summation x square minus summation x whole square upon n into summation y square minus summation y whole square upon n. So this is your another formula. And in case of deviation, suppose if deviation is given, deviation means d is equal to x minus a. So or d is equal to x minus x bar. If suppose deviation is given, so r is equal to summation dx dy minus summation dx summation dy upon n whole upon some square root of summation d square x minus summation dx upon n whole square into square root of summation d square y minus summation dy whole square upon n, and where dx is equal to x minus assumed mean, dy is equal to y minus assumed mean, and coefficient of correlation r is independent of origin and scale. It means if a constant is added or subtracted to x or y, series R remains of Y series R remains same. That means there is no effect of um, there is no effect of if constant is added or subtracted to the x and y series. That means आपका जो आप एक सीरीज x और y के लिए जो कोफिशिएंट ऑफ कोरिलेशन फाइंड कर चुके हो, अगर आप उसमें कुछ ऐड कर रहे हो सब्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हो तो इसमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, आपका r एज इट इज बना रहेगा. Now, there is another point. If all the variables of x and or y series are multiplied or divided by a constant r remains the same. दिस लाइन इज ऑल्सो सेइंग सेम एज इट इज दैट. अब अगर आप किसी सीरीज में कोई आप एक्स और वाई सीरीज में किसी से मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हो, किसी से डिवाइड कर रहे हो, तो जो आपको कोफिशिएंट कोरिलेशन है वो सेम बना रहेगा. हाउ एवर if only one data set is multiplied by minus one sign or of r will change. अगर लेकिन अगर आप अपने डेटा सेट को माइनस वन से मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हो तो वो डेटा सेट आपका चेंज हो जाएगा, सॉरी आर आपका चेंज हो जाएगा. Next point, the most important point about Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation is that it can be calculated for variables but not for qualitative attributes. So इस लाइन का मतलब आप लोग समझ ही गए होंगे कि क्या है. मीन्स हम इस वेरिएबल को सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्वांटिटी के लिए कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं. दिस कैन नॉट बी कैलकुलेटेड फॉर क्वालिटेटिव एट्रीब्यूट्स. There is a next point, important features of coefficient of correlation. So important features, first point, it measures linear association and it does not explain non-linear relationship. That means your relationship, if linear, then you can find your measure coefficient of correlation, but if your relationship is not linear, that means it cannot be defined. Second point, r is independent of origin and scale. Third point, minus 1 is less than or equal to plus 1. Its sign depends upon the numerator, or it means covariance. Fourth point, if r is equal to 0, that means there is no correlation. So data sets are independent. That means if you are getting your correlation 0, that means data sets are independent. Means कोई relation है ही नहीं इन सबके बीच में. But हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि अगर हमारे पास अगर हमारे वेरिएबल्स इंडिपेंडेंट है तो हमारा कार्ल पियर्सन 0 होगा. Next point, the two data sets are random variables. Sixth point, the two data sets are normally distributed. It does not necessarily explain cause and effect relationship. The conditional variance of one variable given the other is identical. So next है coefficient of determination. So coefficient of determination I will discuss in next video lecture. And today I think I have covered all your topic related to correlation and types of correlation or something. Next in next video I will describe the topic coefficient of correlation and I will also discuss few example of coefficient of correlation. So how it will be asked in your final semester exam, right? So there will be a 8 marks question always asked in your final semester exam, and अभी तक भी ये चीज़ पूछी गई है और आगे भी पूछा जाएगा. So आपको coefficient of correlation बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ना है, right? Thank you.